at the Mackinac Policy Conference on behalf of the Michigan Health and Hospital Association and, of course, the Common Bridge podcast and Substack page. I'm your host, Rich Helppie, and today we have with us Rick Baker. He is from the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How have you enjoyed the conference so far?
So far, it's been really good. I think this weather is the best weather we've ever had for this conference.
Michigan, of course, is always known for having great weather on Mackinac Island, and everybody should come up here as a tourist.
Yeah, exactly.
After a stop in Grand Rapids, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, of course. You got to get to Grand Rapids.
Indeed. So spend money in Grand Rapids, come to Mackinac Island, enjoy Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that concludes. No. Tell us a little bit about the Grand Rapids Chamber. What's the contours of that organization?
Well, regional business organization. We have about 3,100 businesses that are members of the chamber. So we're the largest business organization in West Michigan. Highly involved in creating a business climate where people can be successful, business can be successful. Focused on creating a vibrant community, so where people will be attracted to live, so that our businesses can grow and attract talent.
You just built a new amphitheater for music too, I understand.
Absolutely. We fight above our weight class a lot, we say, in Grand Rapids, and partly because of the leadership we have in our community and their willingness to continue to reinvest in our city. And so, on the 15th of May, we opened a new amphitheater right downtown. 12,000 people showed up for the opening night with Lionel Richie. Great concert, high energy. He was great. I happened to be there, and it was a great evening.
That's good to hear. And of course, education with Grand Valley and other institutions. So, a lot to offer in Grand Rapids.
We sure do. Our higher ed institutions are really good. And you mentioned Grand Valley State. They really help us attract talent to our region. I think about 80% of their graduates stay in Grand Rapids, which is a very high percentage. And so at Grand Rapids, we've said we need to make a community that's sticky. You bring them here and they'll stick. And so it makes a great partnership between the community and the university, for sure.
And healthcare's got to be part of that. Hospitals and healthcare. What's the business climate there, and how's the relationship with the hospital and healthcare?
We have a really dynamic business climate, I think, and we have a long time history and a strong culture of locally owned business in our region. It helps us as a community because they're the decision makers, the owners are right there, reinvesting in their community, as I mentioned earlier. But healthcare is an important part of that. It has a big impact on the business climate because if without good quality health care, it affects the employees of our companies. They're also good employers. We have some tremendous healthcare systems. Of course, the largest one in the state now.
Yeah, they're a heavy hitter.
They continue to invest in our community with new facilities and access to healthcare to help us make sure that we have a healthy community.
Does the Chamber ever talk about what their vision for healthcare within the region might be, and how the hospitals and health systems play into that?
Yeah, we've had conversations for a lot of years about being a destination city for healthcare, and I think with Van Andel Research Institute, the BAMF Medical that's there now, Corewell and others that have invested in their facilities, we're moving closer and closer. We have people coming into the region for their health care. And so that's been a long-term vision of how do we invest? If you've been to downtown Grand Rapids, there's sort of a concentration around what we call medical mile. And so we've invested a lot with MSU's College of Human Medicine and others to create that concentration.
What would you like to see from the hospitals and health systems in the community?
That's a big question. They are great employers. They're great community contributors. They're, true assets to our community. But I think we continue, not just in Grand Rapids, but all over, the rising cost of providing quality health care. It's how do we address that? And then that's a super complex challenge. because we're talking about human behaviors and human, a lot of stuff that is hard to get people to change. And so I think that's something that would be interesting to try to tackle. Maybe not from eating the elephant all in one bite, but like figure out like how do we start having impact on the cost, because I think that's affecting our employers, and it's like how do they continue to be able to offer that to their employees.
Well, you're doing a lot of good things by making it an attractive community because so much of the cost in healthcare is labor, whether it's highly skilled professionals, physicians and nurses and such, or if it's, people that are, technical roles or occupational therapists and such. And that can help keep affordability. So it's hand in hand, the business community with the hospitals and health providers.
Absolutely. I do think, a positive that came out of the COVID era is like the higher recognition of mental health and the role mental health plays in our physical health. And I feel like, we've known that for a long time, but I feel like during COVID, it became something that became something people were more comfortable talking about. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're seeing some more advances in like, how do we align mental health and physical health to make sure that both pieces of both sides of the person are in good condition, right?
Yeah, I've heard it described as healthcare above the neck and below the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way to look at it. Rick, any closing comments or thoughts for the audience of the Michigan Health and Hospital Association?
I think, my only closing comments would be like, I feel like healthcare is such a big part of the business climate. And that's what we're all about, is creating a climate that will be attractive and create a community that can be vibrant. And they're such an integral part of that business climate and the community as a whole, that we all have a vested interest in the success of our hospital systems, our healthcare systems, and should be working alongside as partners with our friends that are leading our healthcare systems to make sure that everyone is in a positive place.
I think they'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
We've been talking with Rick Baker of the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce on behalf of the Michigan Health and Hospital Association and the Common Bridge. This is your host, Rich Helppie, signing off.